Natalie, Yaku, welcome to the show to talk to us about SportsPodium. But what is it all about, really?
Thank you very much, Leroy. SportsPodium is a transparent, blockchain-based sports community. What we're doing is we are incentivizing amateur sports athletes for them to provide us with sports information. It will happen over time. So ultimately, SportsPodium is building the largest sports database for amateur sports people in the world.
Now that's pretty impressive. How do you ensure that people provide you with accurate details?
Data information is very important to us. Data that is not accurate is not worth much for anybody in the sports ecosystem. So we have various ways to ensure that data accuracy is actually confirmed. That is done in many ways. If you look at golf, any golf player today which enters his score on a normal golf scorecard, there's two people in the equation, the golf scorer and the golf marker. They check each other on the golf card. In the SportsPodium application, we do exactly the same. So there's people that enter the score, and at the end of the game, we ask for the marker to confirm that the score was correct. So in the sport of golf, that's very easy. This becomes much more difficult if you look at different sporting disciplines. If you look at a team sport like rugby, it's more difficult to find out how accurate is the information. So what we're doing, we're using a video-based system. So if you look at information like stats of training, there might be a person saying that I've done a bench press of 120 kilograms. There's another person that's also saying he's done a bench press of 120 kilograms, but he took a video. Then we crowdsource people to look at the video, people that's entered onto the SportsPodium platform, that's users on the SportsPodium platform, and we use that information and the crowdsource to confirm that the people look at the video and they can confirm the information. So there's various ways that we can confirm the accuracy of the data and the information.
Now, Natalie, speaking of golf, you've recently held the Global Golf Challenge. How has that gone, and why was it critical for SportsPodium to be a part of that?
So it's a really interesting topic, because coming from swimming and coming from other sports and knowledge of other sports, to get into the game of golf and to understand a little bit, I didn't quite understand it till I was actually there on the day and part of that golf day. But something that was obviously spoken about with the team was how best can we get user uptake? How best, what apps are out there already that we can possibly use? Because ultimately that's not where we want to be. We want to actually give the value at the end of the day. So we'd love everybody to partner with us and give that value. And it was an amazing day. I think getting so busy before the day and actually seeing it play out as it did, it was truly special. There were scorecards. Some people did updates, and then we sort of to the app, and then we had to remind them to update to the app. I saw a little gentleman, a father of someone, hit one of the longest drives I think I've ever seen. So I think in those types of things, you actually get to understand how the technology works, and you get to understand the small nuances that go with the algorithms and basically what is looked out for. A very successful day. The golfers out there, they didn't just have fun. They also, some of them, I think, downloaded an application for the first time in their lives. And I think at the end of the day, for me to see the app, to see the leaderboard, it was all about the competition, and to see people interact with something like this app. In terms of, there was one leaderboard, I know they came in halfway and they all looked as to who was ahead of who. And because of the different handicaps that you would enter, because of, the course itself, I know that we got a lot of good feedback. And one of the positive feedback was actually that the app didn't take a lot of power from the cell phone. Everyone relies on their cell phone, and they still need the cell phone to get back home, and the GPS. So I think from that perspective, as a person who's never played golf before, I always say that I can't see the ball. That's why I don't play. I saw different color balls, which was phenomenal. But I think ultimately it was the launch of a week of a golfing challenge, and from the 21st of June to today, the 28th of June. So it all ends today. There is a leaderboard. There was one for that day, and I know there is another one for around the world. we've had quite a good intake, and I think we'll wait till everybody has played to share those, I think, results. But there's a bigger picture to it, and golf was just the start. And I think if we pass on to Jaco, and Jaco will be able to explain a little bit more about what actually that all transpired, but what next in terms of the golfing app and where these can lead to.
Jaco, where are we going with that?
Okay, so the SportsPodium Global Golf Challenge was just the start of of getting people onto the platform. The ultimate aim and the functionality that we're currently building into the app is now it's becoming more a golf management app. So golf courses, corporate companies, anybody that want to arrange a golf day, a golf event, a golf tour, can now use the app. We're building all the features, we're automating the process for golf courses. I know they spend a lot of money to arrange these days. It's difficult, there's a lot of arrangements that goes into this. We now have the platform. Any golf course can use this app now for free to go through the whole process, from adding the sponsors, adding the players, scheduling the players, sending out emails to the players, arranging the times for tee-off. Everything will be done in the app, and the app is available to use for free by any golf course or any corporate for that matter.
Now, what's interesting is you've incentivized the app, introduced cryptocurrency. Why was that?
Yes, that's been coming a long way. We started many years ago. We started with an application called My Rugby CV. Now, Rugby CV was actually born in 2012, and what we did with the application is to enter user information into My Rugby CV. And through time, it emerged that the information was very usable to identify talent if you asked the system the right questions. We did it on many different occasions, mostly at local rugby tournaments or rugby days at the schools. And what we realized over time is it's very nice to have the app and use it on the day. But it's very difficult, or there's no real incentive for people to add information after the day. I would always have loved for people to add their training schedules and all those kind of things, but that never happened. So when I was introduced to blockchain technology and cryptocurrency or crypto tokens, everything just fitted in together. Now I have a way to incentivize amateur athletes by giving me information. At the end of the day, we're building a value for value economy. If the athlete provides the platform value, the platform can provide value to the athlete. And the whole blockchain and cryptocurrency enabled that. This was not possible before. Ultimately, we are using previously undervalued and unmonetized aspects of sport by utilizing the power of the blockchain.
Wow, that's pretty impressive when you think about it. Natalie, as a sports person, how do you see technology of this sort changing the sports field?
You know, when I met Jaco at first, he told us the story of My Rugby CV and how it actually started, and how he had this friend who played so many different sports and was such a good sportsman, but was never really part of any teams. And I think that is what every athlete sees. You know, when we leave the sport, we always want to give back. We always want athletes to not go through what we went through in our day, in our time. One of the biggest challenges around the world is funds. It is equipment. It is finding our development. And by development, we don't talk about race or culture or creed. We talk about literally having 200 people to choose from instead of just 10. And a lot of people say, yes, but it goes according to the size of the country, which isn't always, I think, you know, what it's based on. It's based on how do we see, how do we find, and where is talent. And with SportsPodium, we talk about amateur sport, because what's best than getting the little ones, off wherever they are, to get them interested in sport. Nelson Mandela always said, sport has the power to change the world. And I think that is something that not only South Africa, but the rest of the world actually has taken on. And countries like Australia, New Zealand, even India, have quite a high threshold for sport and uptake of sport, even if it's just on the side of the street, doing some karate or whatever it is. So I think from that perspective, there is an opportunity in many different spaces within the sport. And as Jaco mentions, we need to monetize areas that haven't been monetized. And we look at the big organizations like the Olympics, like the Commonwealth Games. A lot of revenue comes in from media. And everyone's struggling with money. So how can we open that up? And blockchain for me was one of the most amazing parts because of the nature of blockchain, the transparency of it, the ability that it gives, and not just blockchain, but how do we take away the third person? How do we take bias out of sport? How do we take how do we add to someone who possibly doesn't even know they could be a good sports person? And I always try and look back on my life and see I've had amazing opportunities and I've come into spaces with amazing people. And because of that, I was able to succeed where I have succeeded. What about the person that hasn't quite got that opportunity? So I think SportsPodium opens up a realm of opportunities that have never really been there. And I always say to people that the world is an oyster because, whatever you think, I think can be done on blockchain and because of blockchain. And that is truly special. And it mixes that business and sport without having to bring in the individual's personality and without having to bring in the company's personality, because the ultimate lying blockchain is credible, it's accurate, it's diligent, and all those factors that will come from the pod and from SportsPodium.
Yaku, the future of SportsPodium.
Ultimately, SportsPodium is enabling the sporting world. Anybody in the world with a sport in application, anybody in the world that's participating in sport, and that's any sport. We are creating a platform for those people, for those sports application providers. We've got the APIs, we've got the technology set where anybody can just plug in. We would love to partner. We're a totally open organization. We want to partner with people across the world. There's no way that we can know everything about every single sport globally. There's people that are specialists in areas that we are not. All we want to do is help the people to incentivize their user bases with our token. Ultimately, the token must be worth something. It's all about supply and demand. So we are providing any organization, any sports application provider with the ability to incentivize their user base. And then after the users, and the users can be sports people, the users can be supporters that participate in the system as well, can ultimately then earn what we call our crypto token called pods. And then we are enabling them to spend it on sporting equipment. So we want to partner with many people across the world, sporting chains, online shops, that will then allow us that they will accept our pod for as payment for their equipment. We are already in talks with many different sporting chains around the world. We are firstly focusing on South Africa. First of all, we have to. We need to first find the way to make sure that everything works perfectly well before we roll it out to the rest of the world. But we are speaking to many different people at this point in time. So we will, in the next few months, roll out more and more sports. We're currently looking at, we've already rolled out golf. The golf app, the management side of the app will be ready within the next 2 to 3 weeks, from where golf clubs and corporates can use that application to manage their golf days. We are looking to, in the next 2 to 3 months, roll out a cycling application, which will sit within the same SportsPodium application. So you'll have different sport options within the application. We're looking at cycling, we're looking at running. As we announced last week, Brian Abana just joined us on the platform as an ambassador. And we definitely will make sure that rugby is live before the next rugby season starts in 2019.
Well, I look forward to it. And on that note, I want to thank you very much for your time. And I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.